This is a business I started when I was around 18, 17, 18 years old. It happened by chance. I seen an opportunity to go make some money and went for it. Now let's give a little backstory. As I grew up on a farm, uh, I was kind of a stout, not fat, but bigger than most kids my age, and the coach of my school even came to my house and begged my daddy to let me play football. And my dad told the coach straight up, that boy wants to break an arm or a leg, he can do it out here in this dairy barn. So I grew up working. And at 17, 18 years old, my dad, he was going around helping different neighbors and, had little projects they needed to fix and didn't have the money. They were all farmers. They didn't have the money to hire anybody or no big company or nothing. And they would had my dad was trying to operate our dairy and help all the neighbors to a point where it's about to run him crazy. And so I talked to him and I basically took over for him. And now, as I went through school, I studied welding, electrician, refrigeration. Every year I would take new classes. Uh, a lot of this stuff I knew from working with my dad. I grew up, I think I helped wire my first house when I was 15. So I started a business called the Handyman Shop. We did welding, electrical, refrigeration. Uh, I had a friend of our family that was a good welder, and I was a good fitter. But that's all he knew how to do is weld, which I had all these other skills that I had learned over my big lifetime of 18 years old. So I started a business called the Handyman Shop. And this business, I knew how to do the work, but I didn't know how to do the business part. Uh, we went round from neighbor to neighbor. The neighbors heard we were in business and they gave us plenty of business. We stayed busy probably 4 years just doing nothing but welding. And during all this time of doing these welding jobs, I would have customers would call me up needing some electrical work done or refrigeration work done. And I'd kind of put it off to the weekend when my welding help wasn't working, and I'd go do them jobs. I stayed busy. We made a good bit of money for not knowing what we were doing as far as business wise. We made a living. 4 years there we made a living. And but here's where the problem came in. We didn't try to expand. We just worked by word of mouth. Well, word of mouth out in the country don't go very far when most of the customers are dairy farmers. Well, that's where the word of mouth gets to, is other dairy farmers. We didn't put up no signs. We didn't advertise on the local radio or anything of that. There wasn't no internet back then. We uh, had no knowledge of book work, business, of this kind of thing. We welded, and I would do electrical work, refrigeration, that type of things on the weekends. This is a day and age where ceiling fans were coming in real popular. And I would spend my weekends installing 10, 15 ceiling fans for people. Just simple jobs. Uh, Eventually I got into wiring houses, but it was just local people that knew me. I should have advertised, made signs, made business cards, done my research, I didn't do none of that. We stayed busy for about 4 years, and all the local business, we had everything fixed right here locally. Everything was fixed. There wasn't nothing left to fix. So the work started getting fewer and fewer and fewer. My my welder, which is a friend, he had to make a living. All he did was weld. He didn't have these other little sideline jobs to do. But even the sideline jobs on the weekends were starting to dry up. I mean, there's only so much work in one neighborhood before you get everything fixed. And not enough things breaking down as fast as you're fixing them, and so therefore you start running out of work. And as I go forth telling these stories, you're going to find out that's a theme. Not knowing what to do, not having the knowledge, not doing the research. Uh, Knowledge is worth $1,000,000. You can work yourself into the ground, but if you don't have the knowledge to grow your business, keep business coming in, you're gonna fail. Uh, a little business, I would suggest everybody take, if you're gonna start a business, take some business classes. Learn how to plan ahead and how to purchase the supplies you need to keep it in stock. Me and my neighbor that had doing the welding, we would run out of acetylene and oxygen for our cutting torch, our welding rods, our supplies. We would run out of supplies, and we'd have to stop in the middle of our job, run 30 minutes away to restock. Hopefully the place would be open, get our new supplies, and go back. Well, you done wasted half a day doing all that, which we could have planned ahead and got these supplies before we started the job. And therefore, when you get out on a job, you can stay busy. Uh, there's so much to learn and know when starting a business. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Now, when I say I don't believe in a business plan, I'm talking about the official business plan like SBA would want you to do. I think everybody should have a plan, not just all this official red tape bureaucracy that like SBA is asking for. You should sit down, if you're working with someone, sit down and ask one another what's your goals, make a plan, to expand your business. If you're going to stay in business long enough, make a plan to hire people to do some of the work for you while you are doing the business end of it. The, but me and this man, we worked for 4 years. I mean, we worked. I had an old gasoline welder on a single axle trailer that we would drug all over the country. And we did a good job. We made sure we did a good job. I remember times when some of our customers hired other people to come do some welding for them, and within a few months it was all falling apart, and they would call us to come fix what the other companies did. Now, we kept their business after that. They learned that we did a good job and we kept their business. But it ain't their responsibility to go out and advertise for us and, you know, tell everybody to give us business. They gave us business, and that was the end of it. If you're gonna grow a business, you have to expand. You cannot just rely on your neighborhood. Although the people in our neighborhood were good people, but they have their own lives. We have to spend our time to get out, let other people in other neighborhoods know that we do this work and learn to expand. Uh, Different things like that welder, we should have took it off of a low trailer that we couldn't pull about 20 mile an hour and mounted it on a truck that we could travel with. Things of that nature. You can't grow a business just from the sweat of your back and the blood of your hands. You have to be a businessman too. Uh, we did good work. We did a lot of work for the neighborhood. We never once sat down, put pencil and paper to things, and seen exactly what our profit was and how much our expenses was. We just worked a job, used some of that money to buy more supplies with, and split the rest. Which, I mean, we were friends and it worked, but that's not how to grow a business. We should have sat down, made plans, discussed with one another exactly what we were wanting to do, how to expand our business, how to advertise, how to get the word out that we were in business. And I think me working on the side doing electrical and refrigeration work probably hurt our friendship, but he never said a word. But I could see he was kind of aggravated when he was sitting at home not making any money and I was out making money. Uh, like I said, he never said a word. He was always a friend, but I just got the feeling he probably was getting aggravated about it. I reckon I could have brought him in to help me, but most of my little jobs I was doing on the weekends was a one-man job. And another thing, we didn't even know how much to charge people. After years of being in business, we got to asking around about other welders how much they were charging. They were charging twice as much as we were and had way more business than we did. We were at this mindset we didn't want to, overcharge people. Well, if you're good at what you're doing, you got to put a value on what you're doing. There again, you can't overcharge people, but you need to give them a fair price. We made money, but we were just to live. We didn't have extra money for extra things. We couldn't have went out and bought a new welding truck and a new welder. We just worked with what we had. We didn't make enough extra money for the business, to grow the business. And these are things you gotta think of. And I've said once and I've said it again, do your research. We never even checked on what other welders were charging. We just, well, this is what it costs us. This is what, we make a little income and that's what we charged. And we found out years after we've been in business that we were charging half the price of what other people were charging. So therefore we'd had no backup reserves, no extra money to invest in the business. And if you're gonna grow a business, you have to have enough money to invest back into the business, to upgrade your business, to advertise, to have signs and maybe radio advertisements. So as I was saying before, they didn't have internet back then, but they had radio and newspapers and things of that nature. We could have made signs and hung them around different towns, but we didn't do none of that. It was all word of mouth, and that's not the way to grow a business. Now, if you live in a big city with a lot of people, that's a different story. But out here in the country we are, it's kind of a closed-knit type of people, and they don't go outside to their neighborhood. Not talking about somebody they hire to do some work for them. The word got around our neighborhood. I'm talking like a 10-mile radius that we did this type of work and we did a good job and we had that business. But after about 4 years, we run out of work to do. Not that the people got mad at us or didn't like us anymore. We just had everything they needed done. At that point, we should have done expanded and gotten further out of our neighborhood. So if you like this type of content, please like, subscribe. You have a story of your own you'd like to tell, let me know, and we'll put you on and tell your story. So don't forget to hit that bell for more upcoming content. Thank you. Have a good day.